Aloha and ikomo mai. Welcome to the beautiful Turtle Point here on the Kahala coast of the Big Island of Hawaii. And speaking of Hawaii, there have been so many renowned martial artists from these beautiful islands. Generationally speaking, I'm talking about Great Grandmaster James Mitose, the father of Kempo. I'm talking about William Thunderbolt Chow. I'm talking about Sijo Adriano D. Emperado. Then I'm talking about two of my teachers, Edmund K. Aloha Parker and Ralph Castro. Then comes Al DeCoscos, Mike Stone, Algene Parolia, Rick Alamany, Gary Lee, and today's subject, fighting star of the late 60s, 70s, and 80s. Please enjoy my interview with fighting superstar John Natividad. Mahalo nui loa. John Natividad, what year did you start the martial arts and with whom?
Well, I started in high school first. I started with my cousin at that time in Oahu, in Hawaii, at Kazu Kempo School in Waiwa. Then I moved to California. I went to college there, and I started up with Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris was my instructor. How I got started with him was because I was in trouble. And so he was one of those guys that I walked into his studio and I saw about 20 guys in pajamas. And I said, well, this is going to be harmless. And Chuck Norris closed the door and he said, I know what you're up to. You know, you got two choices. You can either sign up and be a student of mine or fight all my black belts. He had, that night was, he probably had 18 black belts. So I signed up. I figured, well, I'll just be, go up till green belt and I quit. But he was a mentor plus an instructor. He would call me up every week and check on me, make sure I was in trouble, make sure I was studying, working out. So he grew up to be a good friend, a good mentor, a good person to follow through.
So when you were growing up, he was kind of like your hanai uncle, yeah?
Right.
Great.
Right. He kept an eye on, and he does that with all his students. With all his students, especially that he sees that potential in them, that they have something else besides being a troublemaker.
So you became the great fighter that you were back in the day because you like to fight. As we say in Hawaii, you like to bust them up.
Yeah. I had my instructor, my immediate instructor was Jerry Taylor. He was a guy. He was a Hawaiian guy too. So learning from him was natural. I mean, guy from Hawaii. I said, hey, you know, I'm from Hawaii too. We had the same ideas, same cultures, and he was good. He had double kicks. He had the smooth. He was one of those guys you watch and he mesmerized you with his movements. You just got taken back by watching this, like watching that ballet guy, Neroff. You go, wow, how can that guy just coast through the air like Michael Jordan? You know, so I followed in his footsteps.
So during your long career in the martial arts, did you have an idol?
Yeah, my idol was, first it was Chuck Norris, and then it was guys like Benny Equators and guys like Joe Louis. I wanted to be like them. I figured I wanted to be as good as they were. or better. And I was in an era where they would come down and work out, and we exchanged all our techniques and information.
Those are long gone days, unfortunately.
Yeah, Bill Wallace said as we were down here at the International 4 years ago, and they asked us, we like to fight each other or in the tournament or in school. We said we love to fight each other in the tournaments because it was still only 2 minutes. The only thing we hated was fighting these guys in the studio because nobody would call time. Nobody would say 2 minutes are up. We'd have to stop and go, hey, we've been fighting for 20 minutes. What are you guys going to do? You going to call time and switch partners? So we did that. I got the chance to fight all the name guys: Roy Corbin, Bill Waller, Jeff Smith, Demetrius Havanas, all those guys from Texas, John Worley. I was one of those guys that worked out all the time and perfected my techniques and learned from them.
And who gave you your first black belt, and who gave you your last ranking, your last black belt?
Chuck Norris did. Gave me my first black belt. I was sitting back and worked that hard for it. And I remember he was giving my first black belt. He looked at me and he said, "It's not that easy if you put your mind to it. It's not that hard if you put your mind to it."
So, what was your biggest light bulb moment or your biggest aha moment in the martial arts during your illustrious career?
Well, I had a lot of aha moments. You know, it was when I fought Benny Quitas. It was winning against him, and he gave me the opportunity to keep going. When I fought Joe Louis, when I beat him on points, it was sitting back and said, you know, life has this offer, this opportunity. If you don't take advantage of it, you're gonna lose out on it. So I grabbed every chance I could. Guys sitting back and working out and fighting the top guys in the nations, being with them and learning from them.
To wrap this up and to say pau and mahalo, finish this sentence for me. I remember when I first started. I could think I never finished anything that was solid, that I could get my hands on. When I started working out in karate, and I started going that, and I working out every day, 2-3 hours a day, led into 4 or 5 hours a day, running in discipline. I could remember all that time that I put into it, and all that time that I learned from them. I could remember the pioneering spirit. When I was coming up, there was golden era. That was the golden era of martial arts. I mean, the old masters now. I see them at the 50th anniversary of the internationals. I see all these guys that are when I grew up with. These guys that I know, they were great. We were champions. We weren't just playing. You know, they talk about, you know, we didn't have any pads. Remember those days they didn't have any pads? They talk about, oh, wow, these were points. I could remember my ribs been broken, my jaw been broken, my hands been broken. It was no semi-contact. It was, you know, I remember Fred Wren asked the guy told him, said, hey, this is supposed to control. Fred Wren, who was one of they called him Fred Wren, he said, I didn't break your jaw, so that was control. Well, to my boyhood hero, John Natividad, I just want to say from one brother to the next, mahalo nui loa. And I remember the epic, epic battles that I used to watch here at Long Beach at the 50th anniversary of the Internationals, Ed Parker's Internationals, and also Ralph Castro's CKC in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So good luck to you, good health, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ke loha no au